really quick before we get any further. Okay, let's see. Attendance. I have everyone here except. Oh, another one came in. Admit. Today is the 7th, right? Okay. And all right, let's see. I have Brooke, Alex, Nathan, and I don't think I have Lily. No. And Jaden, Gordon, Felix, no Felix today. Brody, let's see who else. Catherine, no Catherine. Gisa person, Bobby person, Asia person, and Corey. I don't have Corey absent. Alright, so let's see. Missing the following: Lily, Felix, Catherine, and Corey. And I have everybody else. Alright, very good.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Corey, oh yes. Alright, you're in the corner here. Sorry about that. Thank you for calling this out. Corey person. Say. Alright, thank you. Alright, all good. So today we're going to look at some video stuff, and then maybe talk a little bit more about AI, and then we will probably start looking at your work as well as some other things. Oh, Katie just came in. All right, let me just add her back in here. Present, say. Okay, so now let's jump right into the content part in here. Seems like we have been going back here and forth. All right, so you might, if you have a full view like of everyone, you might see one screen that is like looks like a computer. Okay, you can probably click on that, and then it might go into like a bigger view, or depending on, like, you can select the view. If you have a computer, it's easier. But anyway, let me just kind of show you this. So this is the software that we use. Well, I encourage everyone to download this OBS. OBS is a free software that you can download to your laptop, to your computer, and then you can actually run almost like a TV studio. Okay, so right now I have several cameras set up in here. Let me show it to you. So you don't have to see me right now. If you can just hear me through the normal login in here. If you I think, would you be pin or spotlight? I can spotlight for everyone maybe. All right, so now you should be able to see this is the main screen. All right, and then so this is yeah, Bobby, you'll be my tester, so you tell me everything. Okay, so you should see like the control panel. All right, so now I'm going to, let's say, change the camera in here. So you will see camera 1, which is the main laptop camera.
For some reason it's I don't see it now.
You don't see it? So what do you guys see?
I do see you, yeah. Sorry.
All right, so this is my laptop camera. Okay. So if I go back to the desktop, you should see the desktop again, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So now my laptop camera is actually right here.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you look at the other camera that I have,
Yeah, I do.
you see this is my other camera. This is my laptop camera.
Uh-huh.
All right. So this is one camera. So this software allows you to play around with like directing and switching. All right. For those who took Com 110, I think you might have remember I talked about this too, and we play around with this a little bit. So let's say I switch to another camera.
Okay.
So again, this is from my laptop. This is not from my office computer. Okay. Remember, my office computer is this one. Okay. And then this is the second camera I connected to my laptop. Okay. And I also have a third camera connected to my laptop. Okay. So this was the one that was acting up a little weird. Okay, so now this is a tracking camera. So you see how it's following me right now?
Yeah.
All right, and remember this is like a switcher. All right, so I can actually switch and then say I'm gonna have all three cameras plus something else. So I have the Earth Cam running here. So let's go to this mode. Now you see it.
Yeah.
So I have three cameras running right now on my laptop, plus a screen of actually it's a live stream from EarthCam. So this is from New York City, Times Square. I don't know if you've been there. Let me make sure I can refresh this so that it will actually play. All right. So you see what's going on right now? From my laptop, I have three cameras. Okay, the laptop camera, a second camera, and then the third camera right here. Okay, so and I'm using my laptop to call in as a student. All right, so and I'm showing you what the laptop is seeing right now. Okay, now if you think about this, right, if you already have a laptop, you have already one webcam built into your laptop. All you need is to buy another webcam or buy another two webcams. You can actually do this. All right, a webcam it can probably cost you like $20, $30 these days. Okay, it's not that expensive. So you can actually create a studio. You know, I can switch back and forth. You know, I can, let's say I just want to see the EarthCam. All right, you can see that right there. I can go back to my main camera. You know, it's almost like you're directing in the studio. Okay, and I'll show you the desktop. Okay, all I'm doing is I'm switching from here. Oops. So I'll go back to the desktop. You see how my mouse is moving here? I switch to camera 1, I switch to camera 2, switch to camera 3, and I will bring it back to the desktop right here. Okay, so like you can just do this. This is like you don't even need to read instruction. You know, if you download the software, it's almost like self-apparent. You can just do this really easily. The only thing is that you might want to set up like at least one more camera so you can do like a 2-camera shooting. You know, if you want to do that, and it's all recorded to your computer basically. Makes sense? So now I can actually run it to live stream. The way I have it set up right now, if you look at this here, it says like maybe you cannot read it because the text is kind of messy here. It says stop virtual camera. So my laptop is feeding into a virtual camera. What that does is when you open up Zoom, instead of choosing your laptop camera, it become an OBS virtual camera. Does that make sense? So instead of seeing it through a camera, it's outputting from this software, and it's pretending to be a camera when you come to Zoom. So that's how I connect to you guys. I have two connections right now to you guys. One will be this computer, which is from my regular Zoom camera computer. The other one is this one right here, where it's my laptop. And then my laptop is controlled by OBS, and OBS has multiple cameras inside, and OBS, all the camera output becomes a virtual camera to Zoom. Make sense? So if you want to play around with things like this, if you have questions or problems, let me know. I can help you set it up. It's really easy to do, actually. And all you really need to do to make it fun would be like maybe to do like two cameras, at least two cameras. You can also use this to record stuff. So for instance, you want to record a presentation, you can actually do that way. Just make it as a virtual camera. You can live stream directly from here instead of using Zoom. So let me gonna show you another thing that we can play around with. So let me not confuse you. So I'm gonna go back to desktop here, so you know that this is just the regular desktop. And I'm gonna switch myself back to the main to play spotlight. Alright, so this is back to the normal view, right? You guys can all see me in the main screen. If you have multiple screen, you should see that desktop is like up in the kind of like a scrolling film strip looking thing on top. Alright, if you're using a computer. Alright, so now let me share my screen so you can see. So I'm doing this another way. So I'm going to share with you my screen here. Alright, so this is how you normally see me when my second screen is being shared. You all can see my desktop screen number 2, right? Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to do another interesting thing. So I'm already set up to do live streaming. And let's see this one right here too, right? And this alright, so now I'm going to do another interesting thing. So I'm already set up to do live streaming. You see it, this is live stream. Okay, so I'm using a different camera. You can hear it's a few seconds later. Alright, let me increase the resolution or something. It looks a little bit weird. You see, this is live stream. Okay, so I'm using a different camera. Alright, and I'm gonna copy this. Let me increase the resolution. Maybe I can drop the audio in here. Alright. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to send this on the chat right here. Alright, if you click on that link and open up your YouTube, you can do something kind of crazy. You can use your mouse and drag this. Alright, this is streaming with a 360 camera. So can you guys try that? If you just click on the link on the chat, open up the YouTube, and then you can actually drag the camera. You can see my office. Anyone try? Bobby, you can do it, okay? Well, you're able to drag the screen. I see Katie. Nodding your head. Yeah. Very good. Very good. All right. So this is 360 live streaming. All right. Now I used to be able to do it in OBS, but I think somehow last year something changed again. I have not been able to do that. But if I spend some time working with it, probably spend a few hours, I can probably make it work again. But they keep updating the software and they're not coordinating. So, but this is 360 live streaming through YouTube, and you can do 360 live streaming, I think, from Facebook also. I'm not sure if you can do it in TikTok or Instagram, but you can definitely do it in YouTube and in Facebook. So the cool thing is because you can control the 360, you can see anywhere my camera is because it's a 360 camera. Make sense? And because it's live streaming 360, as a viewer, you can also control basically my camera, but it's not really moving the camera like the other one is moving, because the camera doesn't move. Okay, if you look at this, let me maybe use another camera to show it to you. All right, so if I go back to pinpoint my virtual camera, all right, so I'm gonna highlight using this camera. Okay, spotlight. All right, so now I will stop sharing for a second, and then so you can see my spotlight right here. Let me make sure it will be a full screen. Remove spotlight and then create spotlight. Okay, it wouldn't go into the full screen this time. It's not video. Co-host, yes. All right, so in here, if I were to bring up a camera 2, okay, so this camera, you see, it's not wireless, so it has a wire attached to my laptop, and you can see I have a few things in here. I have another camera here, I have a little gimbal thing. This is the 360 camera. Okay, and then this is the little mobile camera that can follow me. Okay, so if I switch it to the mobile camera, you see I'm aiming right at it, and if I'm moving, it's following me. Okay, and some of you probably heard of gesture control. Let's try this. You see I'm just using my gesture to control the zoom. Okay, and almost all new cameras has this kind of feature now. You know, the camera is called PTZ cameras, pan, tilt, and zoom. So it actually can actually move. So if I'm using this aiming here, you might have to see multiple screen in here. You can see that I'm actually moving with this one. So let me switch to camera 2. Okay, so camera 2 is seeing this guy. You see how it's following me? Okay, all right, let me put this back here. Okay, alrighty. So let's go back to the desktop so that doesn't get too confusing. And maybe I can remove the co-host thing in here. Let's see. Remove co-host and then remove spotlight. Okay, so back to normal. All right. Again, the live stream, the YouTube is still working, so I can still do this panning and zooming and different things with this. Remove spotlight. Okay. So right now it's back to, I think, completely normal. All right. So any questions about what you can do, like the power that you have today? Everything other than you had to buy the laptop, you might already have one, maybe buy a couple cameras or one camera. All the accounts are free. OBS software is free, YouTube is free. Like everything I use except like the cameras, you have to pay for. Everything else, you can sign up, you can do it. Okay. And why is it important? I think live streaming is extremely important. If you want to do anything with social media these days, at least have that capability. You might not live stream every day, but you might have to do it quite frequently. If you want to bring, like, kind of drum up, interaction with people. People get excited. They enjoy watching your videos, but they will enjoy even more if they can interact with you. Does that make sense? In a limited way. Okay. All right, so any questions about anything? Okay. All right, so let me, I can probably stop the stream. Anyone seen any other